This technique is called change history. It has been around for a long, long time. It was one of the, way back in the early 1970s, this technique was developed. It's still useful. People still teach it in NLP training programs. I think it is an excellent way to teach people how to do what's called an isomorphic regression or age regression. Isomorphic regression means that there is a relationship between your behavior of your problem and the behavior in the past and in several instances. So there's isomorphism means there's a one-to-one relationship, meaning the feeling you have now is the same feeling you had last week, which is the same feeling you had 2 years ago, which is the same feeling you had 10 years ago. Get the idea? In the past, reoccurring experiences. Now, in your workbook, at the top, the top of each technique, there will be a brief description of the technique and why you would use this technique. In the change history, okay, we say the criteria for doing a change history is when someone has a pattern of experiences, a pattern of problems, the same problem reoccurs. The situation may be a bit different, but the nature of, for example, I can never hold a job. I get a job, I get fired, I get a job, I quit, I get a job, and they repeat themselves. I've had millionaires come to me and say, you know, I've won and lost $1 million 5 times in my life. And they should be so lucky, right? And seriously, I've had people come to me for that particular reason. A pattern comes up. I keep getting into the same old bad relationships. That's another recurring problem. I always have a fear of authority figures. You know, it could be a policeman, it could be a teacher, it could be anybody who's in a position of authority. A continuing pattern. You get the idea? So these are representative of past experiences which are similar. They're represented in how you heard, felt, smelled, taste, and how things look. Every experience that you've had in your life, as long as you haven't had your blinders on or your earmuffs, has been recorded. The sounds, images, feelings, smells, and tastes, it's been recorded, and they're linked together in the sense that now in NLP speak we call this a four-tuple, okay, which is the multiple representations for A, K, O, V. It's called a four-tuple. It's on your master practitioner test. What is a four-tuple? Okay, it's like the most fundamental basis of NLP is the four-tuple, which is your 4 senses. And every experience that you've had is linked with these 4 senses. So theoretically, you could use any one of these, a picture, a sound, a feeling, or a smell and taste, to go back to the last time that you've experienced it. I'm using the feelings because the feelings are the easiest one to use. So what we're going to do is to use a feeling to take us back to a reoccurring experience that's happened in the past, in the past, in the past. And that's going to regress us to a time when the problem occurred. If you don't have a circumstance where your problem is based in the past and there hasn't been any patterns, then this technique isn't appropriate. Okay? Get the idea? It works the best for people who think they have problems now because of what happened in the past. And it works best with people who have reoccurring problems. Again, if that isn't the criteria, then you don't use this. All right? Okay. So what I thought I'd do, I'll do a demonstration with Vienna. And we'll see where it goes. Now, so do you have this kind of like a pattern you think that comes up in the past? Now let's think about.
Okay.
If you're like me when I was your age, I had so many problems I didn't know what to do with. But you're not. Yeah, oh, there's so many. Just anything that happens that comes up, or something that you're trying to accomplish now, but you think you're stuck, or you can't get over the obstacle.
Can I talk about it?
No,
Or
do you want to talk? Can you tell us? Can you tell me? You don't have to, but.
Yeah, I have, but I want to know if I have to talk about it or not.
Yes. Can you tell me?
Okay. No, then I choose one that I want to talk about.
Okay.
I like to talk about here.
Would you like to whisper it to me?
No.
I'm safe. No? No? It sounds like a good one, actually. I mean, if you don't want to talk about it, it must be really good. This is the best part I like about these things, is the gossip factor. I go, you did, and then what happened? No. I need to know more.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, now in these, it's okay. When I'm doing this, there's some people, they'll go to a training program and they'll tell you, oh, I don't need to know what your problem is, and I can still fix it. And I go, yes, that's right. Technically, that's true. Okay. If you are a NLP practitioner learning, yes, you do need to know what the problem is, because you don't have the skill level to be able to identify that you're choosing an appropriate resource to solve a problem. You can do what we call secret therapy, just work with the calibrations. And that's great, right? But what do you do if you don't know? What do you do if it doesn't work? You need to get information, because sometimes the resources you will come up with to solve the problems won't be the ones you need to solve the problems. They may be resources, but not necessarily the ones that you need to solve a particular problem. Some problems are very unique and they need specific resources, and to get specific resources you need to have information. Like, what is it that we're trying to change here? So that gives us an indication of what resource that we're going to need to get to help this out. You get the idea? So secret therapy is possible, does work. Okay? At an early trace age of learning NLP, you're kidding yourself, and you're kidding the person you're working with. You really do need more skill level to be able to work that. I mean, I do things all the time. I do my mind reading, and I do age regression, and much more streamlined process than this, because I've been doing it for a long time, and I have a lot more skills than you do at this stage. So if you hear people say, oh yeah, I learned NLP, and I don't even have to know your problem, you go, well, just keep that in mind. Yes, and maybe you do. Okay?
Okay. I often have the problem that I have to do something, and I do it at the last point.
Yeah.
Can you say it?
Last moment.
Yeah,
Last
in the
moment.
last moment.
Okay, last
Okay?
moment. Okay.
And I'm stressy, and then it works so good.
Okay.
When I thought, okay, I will keep enough time, I always make it at the last moment.
Okay, all right. That's good. It's a good problem. However, it's not a problem that I would
It's
use.
not a good problem.
I would not use this technique for that problem.
Okay.
I would use some other technique, like the submodalities technique. I would look at maybe changing her values. Okay. So I'd go, okay, that's fine. But this doesn't really fit into this model very well. Okay, so we'll choose something else. Okay, you sure you don't want to tell me what this problem? I promise I won't tell him. Just between me.
Okay.
That you do what? Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Now, any particular type?
No. Good, good
Okay.
relationship.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Good.
then
Oh, okay.
some.
Okay. Good. All right. So that's all we need. Okay. Now, can you think? So we have I have the information. I know. Okay. Okay. Can you think of the last time that this happened?
Mm-hmm.
You can. Okay.
Yeah,
Good. Okay. Good. So you got that? Okay. So now, what is it that you would like to have occur?
Sorry?
What would you like to have happen?
Now or in the past?
Whatever, in now or in the past, what would you have liked to have?
Okay. Okay.
I mean, would you like to, see, we need to get an outcome for you.
Okay. Okay.
You want to tell them, or you?
I like
Yeah.
that it don't happen.
It doesn't happen. Okay,
That
so.
it doesn't happen to me.
Okay, so if you didn't feel that way, how
Yeah.
would you like to be?
Happy,
Happy. Okay.
trusting, and
Okay, so you like to be happy,
Yeah.
and you like that to be.
a good
But
relationship
okay,
with.
but sometimes it doesn't happen, okay? And you
Yeah.
get that feeling, okay?
Yeah, okay.
So, life is going to be like that. It's full of
Yeah, okay.
experiences that happen, and you
Okay.
can't predict that this won't happen in the future.
Yeah.
Okay, sure, I would like that to happen too, and to be that
Okay.
way, but reality doesn't always conform
Yeah.
to what I would like to have happen,
Okay.
right? So, we have to go, given that this may happen again, okay, how would you like to be so you could be happy? Okay, things happen to me in life, okay? And, things there's setbacks, okay, that happen. And I kind of go, well, all right. To me, it's one thing that there's a phrase in NLP, it's a test, operate world, okay? That there's no mistakes, there's just outcomes. Right? So life comes your way, you don't always get what you want, even though that you'd like to have it. You go, okay, well, that one didn't work, now what do we need to do, okay? There's a lot of different ways to respond to situations. Some people think they don't have a choice. They think, well, this happened, therefore, this is how I feel, and these are my feelings. And I go, well, okay, fine, but you can feel this way, or you can feel this way, or that way, or that way, or that way. Which one do you want to choose? See, a limitation is just that. People go down a funnel, and they go, okay, this happened, and I have this response, and I want to change that. Well, it's fine. However, what response do you want it to change it to? It's like I go, well, Julie says, well, I feel bad when this happens, and then Barbara goes, well, if that happens to me, I don't feel bad. So we know that there's different behaviors, there's different choices, right? So people say, well, I experience pain. Well, I mean, there's one probably reliable way that everybody, if somebody takes you and they punch you, you're probably going to experience pain. Other than that, the emotional responses, you can have a half dozen of them given any one situation. So you want to choose which one do you want. You can have indifference, you can have curiosity, you can have anger, you can have frustration, You could have
hurting.
You can have hurting,
inside, yeah.
or you can have happiness. You can have, which one do you want?
For the future, or
Yeah, for the future. Yeah.
Yeah, happiness and Leichtigkeit, was heißt das? Easiness.
Lightness.
Nein, nicht leuchten, sondern
Lightness. Yeah.
Lightness, okay, das ist okay.
Lightness.
Yeah.
Okay, now, have you ever had a similar thing like that happen in another situation, and you felt that happiness or lightness?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah.
Okay, and what was that situation? Doesn't have to do with people, it could be another circumstance, or...
Okay, when I trust myself,
Yes?
and I study and I get a good result. And
Okay, good. So you
yeah,
trust yourself.
yeah,
Okay.
happy
All right.
and,
Okay. So
successful.
when you trust yourself, what you okay. I'm going to use this as an anchor. Okay. Touch it. Okay. Okay. It's
Oh, you need, yeah.
Okay. So when you trust yourself, okay, like this is like for studies and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how does that feel to be that way, to trust yourself? Is that good? So we then associate to the last time you felt this way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you get it? And then we anchor it. We anchor that when she's associated into that context. All right, so you get the idea? So we get a problem, then we find out we get a resource, we associate to the resource, and then we anchor it. Okay. Now, also, do you have any dialogue? But when you trust yourself in this situation, do you say to yourself, "Well, you know, this is going to be all right," or what kind of words would you use for yourself?
You're good enough.
You're good enough. That's
you
right.
Study enough.
That's good. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
hear those words to yourself.
Okay.
So just say them to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, any pictures do you make? How do you see? Do you see pretty clear, and you see where you want to go, or what is it like for you? So associate to that situation.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you're focused, yes?
Mhm.
Okay, good. All right. All right, so then we get it anchored in three major systems. Okay, so we get a problem. Okay, something that recurs in the past. Okay, then we find out what do you want to have as an outcome. Okay, then we get the resources from the person's history, the events, and then we anchor them in the three major systems. So now we have our resource anchor set up. Okay? So, now we go back and let's think of the time, this time now, that's the problem that you had, okay? The last time you had that, okay? And how that felt for you. Now I'm using the word feel because this is the one we want to get. Do you got that one? Okay. Okay. Now, so then we test the anchors. Test that one, and then we test this one. Okay. So now we have the outcome anchor, and we have our present state or the problem anchor. Only the feeling. The feeling is what we're going to use now to go back in time. So this is like this. Now this is what I'd like you to do. I'm going to want you to close your eyes. Okay. Now I'm going to touch your anchor here. I want you to be aware of that feeling. And I want you to intensify the feeling until a memory comes up from the past when you've had this experience before. And let me know when it comes up. Now, generally when you do this, the person thinks they have to remember a previous event. Okay? You don't have to do anything. The feeling will bring in the memory by itself. All you have to do is intensify the feeling and the memory will pop up in your mind. And that's usually the hardest part of people getting beyond trying to do it consciously. They go, well, I can't recall one. Well, you don't have to recall one. The feeling will bring it up. Did another experience come up? Something
Yeah.
earlier? Okay, now, all right, and how old were you in this last experience? Oh, how old are you now, by the way?
30.
13. It said, I thought you were going to say 13 in my Bible.
Yeah, no, 30.
Yeah, so she's 13 now. Okay, all right. Now, how old were you in this last experience that we just recovered?
30.
The same age?
Yeah, half a year.
Oh, half a year ago.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So I'll say 29 and a half, I'll say. Okay, and now, what was happening? Just tell me the context. Like where you were when you had this memory. What was the situation?
It was a working situation.
Okay, so you had work, and what was happening at work?
I lost my job.
Okay, good. Okay. Okay, you just need a little phrase because the only reason you want to get this is so you can refer back to it at a later time. You don't need anything else. You don't need to know what job she was doing, who it was, any of that kind of stuff. Just general information. Okay? Good. Okay, now we'll go back again and close your eyes. Okay, and take it from the time at work, lost your job. Okay, just intensify the feeling and be aware of another image from the past coming up. Okay, got another one? Okay, what is it? Just general. Oh, age?
I stopped working
Okay.
at a company.
Okay, how old were you then?
I decided to
Yeah,
stop working.
okay, and how old were you in this one?
Half a year before, 29.
29, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good. Now, you can tell when an image comes in mind because the person's eyes will begin to flutter, okay? That's what I'm looking for. And then you can help them because sometimes people aren't aware and you can actually see that something is coming in their mind and you can help them out. Okay, so, okay, close your eyes. Okay, this is when you stop working. Intensify that feeling and have it take it back farther. See if we go back farther than that. So take it back. Gonna do it another time.
Not really.
It-
I remember, I know,
What?
by
What?
myself I know it, but
you
I
didn't-
don't intend it. Okay, I was 28
Mhm.
and it has to do with a relationship
Okay.
with a friend.
Going back. Okay, we're gonna get a couple more if they're there. Okay. Now, is that? Do you feel it here? Is this where you feel it? The feeling? Is that? Or where is that?
I don't.
Where do you feel the feeling? That the one that I'm asking you to intensify. You feel it up there, do you?
Yeah,
Okay, that's fine.
here.
Okay, so just keep. You want to make sure the person is intensifying the same feeling every time, because if they go to another feeling, it's going to take you to another event. Okay, so take that same feeling there. Okay, intensify. Close your eyes. At 28, go back. Does anything else come up? Yeah? How old?
20.
20. And what were you in?
In school, relationship with a friend.
Okay, we're going to get one more. So generally speaking, you want probably 4 or 5 of these. You don't want to get 30 or 25, or it's just, you'll be here all day. So you get 40. These are actually pretty tight. Generally, you might go from 30 to 28 to 16 to 4 years old or something. There's usually a bigger gap when you go down, but it's fine. You get what you get. Sometimes what just really ruins my demonstration when some people are really good about going back and past, and they would intensify this one here, and they go all the way back to the past, the original occurrence, and then you have to build from there as opposed to going backwards. Okay? It doesn't ruin things, it just doesn't make for the best demonstration because they don't do what you expect them to do. Okay, good. We'll do one more. Okay, age 20. Close your eyes. That same feeling. Ever intensify the feeling? Did something come up?
It's a situation with sports, hobby.
Okay, how old? How old?
15.
15?
Yeah.
And what was happening? 15? What the situation?
I was playing basketball
And
in
what?
a group.
Yeah. Yes, go on. Okay, is that on? Okay, I'm going to do one more because I want to see something. I'm curious about something. Okay, at 15. Okay, so intensify at 15. Close your eyes. Same feeling at 15. Anything else come up?
No.
No?
No.
So you stayed there, huh? Or stayed there, or did
No, it was more intensity, the
Oh, just-
feeling, but I don't.
Don't go anywhere. Okay, all right, that's fine. Now, so that's what I wanted to have happen, actually, because okay, so when you get to the original event, either the person, when you intensify the feeling, they'll either stay there or they'll go back up to one of these. Okay, and that's how you know that you've gotten to the origin. Now, if I hadn't gotten to the origin, I would have just gone with what I had right there anyway. I wouldn't go, more, because you don't have to get to the origin. You just need enough of these 4 or 5. Because the reason we're doing this is because when you have repetitive patterns and you only fix the one that's happening currently, often one of the old patterns from the past will come back and reactivate the problem again. So what this technique does is it, for lack of a better word, cancels out several of the patterns so they can't come back and re-engage the problem. So that's where we're going through this. So we get 4 or 5 of these is enough to ensure that it's not going to come back and get you. Okay? But it's always nice to go back to the origin and get it represented. Either person stays there or they'll come back to another one. And that gives you, that's an indication or the test that you've got to the original experience. I don't do past lives. I think past lives are pretty cool. I wouldn't take anybody, do a change history and go back to a past life, because I think there's more than enough problems to deal with in this life than to go back in the past. And when you start going into other lives, or when you take somebody back pre-verbal, like somebody says, oh yes, I'm in the womb, and they're describing this whole experience of what it's like, you know, in the womb, and they're using all these complicated language, and here they are in the womb. You know, this information gets distorted. So under 2 years old, I say that's fine, but we'll go back up to a time where we can get a more accurate representation of what's going on. Just the information gets too distorted, pre-verbal, you know, someone be able to talk. So, and I think I like things to be concrete and reliable. So you can do whatever you want. You can go to in the womb. You can go to past lives. It doesn't really matter. I'm gonna, you know, do whatever you want with it. It's just this is my preference, and okay, to work in this world. Okay, let's see. Okay, good. So everybody with me so far? Okay, good, great. So now what we're going to do, here's the easy part. Okay. By the way, the hardest part of the whole thing is getting the first one, because that's where the person needs to get this, become sensitive to the memories coming up. Okay, here we go. Now, I want you to go back to that time when you're 15 at the basketball situation. Okay, close your eyes. I want you to go there, and I'm going to touch both of these, and I want you to know if anything changes about that experience. I want to know if you put these together. In other words, do you feel different? Do you say things different? Do you see yourself do things different? Or does anything happen differently?
The feeling changed.
The feeling changed for there. Okay. Is it still a bad feeling, or
no, it's more lighter.
More lighter. Okay, closer. Okay, good. Okay, now I want you to go back up to age 20 when you were at school. Okay, the same. Did that change? Okay, all right, now we're going to do it without the anchoring now. Go back up to age 28. See, technically, if I've changed the original experience, the other one should refer to that and change also, but without doing the anchoring. Is that okay? Mm-hmm. Up to age 29 now. Working. Now age 29 and a half. Okay. Yeah. Now sometimes what happens, the closer you get to the present, sometimes the feeling is strong. It's stronger than what it was in the past. So the resources may work really well in the past, but not be strong enough to change things in the recent past. So I would go and I would get another strong resource, another strong feeling, or whatever it is that we need, and I would anchor it again. And then I would collapse the anchors at that point. Okay, so just because something doesn't start to work, it doesn't mean that you've done something wrong. It's just that that's what happens. And you just need to get another resource, anchor that in, and then collapse it. Once you've done all these, then what you do, we call a future pace, or an ecology check. We'll ask you to close your eyes now, and imagine going into the future, down your timeline into the future, and an imaginary situation where this feeling, the disappointed feeling may come up, or the circumstances may come up, and I want to know if you feel better about them in the future. Or not feel better about being disappointed, but do you respond differently in the future than you did?
Maybe.
Maybe. Oh, maybe.
Maybe it's
What
It's
happens?
here, the fear. It's not here.
Yeah, it's there.
Like in the first time, it's here.
Yeah.
And it's more, no, less tension in.
Okay. But you said maybe. So what's the maybe about?
Maybe is, I don't know if it will be in the future.
Oh, okay. All right. So open your eyes.
That's
Okay.
it.
So in your imagination,
Yeah.
it did it,
Yeah.
but you don't know it actually. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
That happens sometimes, and also for people who are very kinesthetic. It's like, there's nothing like reality. And my comment is like, great, okay, it worked now, okay? Go off and have a good time and let me know what happens. Okay, because, I mean, you can't, there's no way you can take her into the future and to give her that validity, because her test is, reality, right? Another thing to do is we could, we do what we call a reality test, okay? If you change someone and you want to know if your work has really been successful, you create a circumstance which is identical to the one that caused the original problem, and you just watch the calibration to see if they responded. I mean, the simplest example is that if somebody has a phobia of a snake and they say, okay, it's fine, you go get a snake and you show it to them and see what they do, okay? So if someone has a problem that, they feel bad when somebody shouts at them, well, you come in and you shout at them and you see if they respond okay. Okay, so that's what we call a reality test, okay? So that's one way you could do it. Or we also call that a live metaphor. Instead of telling them a story about a change, you give them a live experience and see if they respond. So there's many ways that you can deal with it. Okay, good. You're great. Okay, have a seat. That's good. You're all set. Okay, so that's how it works. Okay, first of all, does the criteria meet doing the technique in the first place? Does the person have several experiences in the past that they had a similar result? These are, some's at job, some's at school, some's at this. It doesn't matter what the circumstance is, but the pattern of how the person responded is the same. So that's the first criteria. Then you go, okay, great, we'll do a change history. Okay? Get a resource of how they want to succeed, how they want to be. Then take it back to have them associate to having the last time they had the problem. You get the feeling component, close your eyes, intensify the feeling, go back until they can report to you 4 or 5 circumstances when the problem came up, and you just write a couple words up there. Now you understand why I wrote those up there now, right? Because then after she integrates, I know where to take her. Okay, 20 when this, 29 when this, so that just helps me and her refer back to them. As they go up, all the way to the present, in imagination, go into the future, imagine the circumstance coming up again, do you respond differently? And you're looking for a yes. If they say, no, it's the same, then either they need a different kind of resource, another resource, or there's something other ecological conditions, which means there's a conflict of values or beliefs or something. So it's called an ecology check for the simple reason you're testing how the person is using the new resources in the future, and is there anything that will prevent them from doing it.